Yeah,
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Go ahead.
thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you all. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to so many of you can make it today. I'm pleased to be here again. Thanks for inviting. Thanks for your interest in this workshop, Painting Intercultural Poetry. We're going to share a relaxing and fantastic event together. Let me introduce again. My name is Maria Alejandra Fumaroli. I was born in Argentina and I carry the world in my blood. I love poetry and I consider it as a language of my soul. I cannot imagine poetry without love. After learning and writing poetry with the Poetry Foundation and my CUNY, and learning from Mitul Pradip, his daughter of the legendary poet Kavit Pradip, an Indian poet and songwriter who is well known for his patriotic song Abhi Meyer Wanta Kilogo, writing as a tribute to the soldiers who had died defending the country during the Sino-India War. Reading the painter Shirley Horton Tripp and writing poems, I will present this workshop based on painting intercultural poetry. I divided the presentation in the most important topic to take into account when we talk about painting poetry. To start with, I will encourage the ability to paint feelings through poetry. Then I will share a brief background about painting poetry theory. After that, introduce the artworks, listening to and reading poems, and finally, we are going to create or paint some writing to create or paint at the moment. Feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions. And please take into account some topics, some tips to enjoy our meeting, respect each other, be aware of different cultures and background, and accept differences and share your thought with the members. If I ask you, all the audience and the attendees, what is painting inspired by poetry? And how much do you know about it? Which words come to mind? I encourage all of you to write in the chat box the first word that appear in your mind. Remember that in poetry there is no good or wrong when you talk about feelings and thought. I'd like to share this figure with you regarding the theory on painting poetry. Here we have some words that the author mentioned when they talk about poetry. Now, I'd like to share an amazing painting with you. Shirley Horton Tripp described the process of making painting from poems as feeling almost like alchemy, taking the words, the sound of the words, the rhythm and path, and which they are recited, as transubstantiation, all that into something physical. In a way, pulling up the visual context of these very emotive words, it was like creating a spell in a way, she said, almost an incantation, all them bringing it into material world. Horton Tripp first started creating this cross-sensing, collaborative type work in 1990. The poets whose work inspired her paintings include Will Alexander, Richard Greenfield, Job Davin, Catherine Megg, Ken White, Sherwin Bixu, Jennifer Forster, and Sonja Cavanger. Horton Tripp worked with the poem by listening to them rather than by reading. The writers sending tapes or did an in-person reading at her studio. Many of the poets provide a small collection of their work to her to listen to. I listened to them 1,000 of time, said the author. She considered all of the work to be abstract. She said that while some of the paintings have fairly direct interpretation, for example, in the artwork inspired by poet and screenwriter Ken White, thought of mouth be taken for us, she painted several open mouths. Her paintings are not illustration of the poem, she said. Every scene from the images she created to the material she used. was beyond the feelings that the poem evoked. It's not necessarily that the poem is about literally, she said. It's much more about the deep, emotive touchstone of the poem. Let's take a look at this picture now. In her work, inspired by New Mexico State University professor and writer Richard Greenfield, she wore inspiration from the fact that he recorded himself reciting one of his poems while at the beach. You could hear the wind and almost the grit of the sun hitting the microphone, she said. And that all became part of my listening to the work. In part of the painting, she used a more watercolor-based paint to bring weavers into the same space. As you can see from this painting, though still abstract, she said viewers may see a multicolored face of a human or an animal, and in her painting Lobster Drum. It is based on pieces from Los Angeles by poets Will Wessler, Alexander Brooks, the Sri Lankan Lobster Drum. She views his poetry, which he read to her live over the summer, and otherworldly, or like going to another planet, in another galaxy, in another consciousness. Loxodrome is not an animal, she said. The word defined an imaginary arc that crossed meridian in spheres, like the Earth. But the word for me, of the sun of the world, I see in this for is both mammal and sea creature. Why? I don't know. Alexander told the journal his references to areas in South Asia and Eastern culture are like poetic cartography, likening a sailor intuition and voyaging to the work of a poem. The poet is a lone sailor. The poet is a lone carrier of energy, he said, like a solitary sailor going across the unknown. This is one of the interests that started me on this. This last painting brings me to the end of the first part of the workshop. Based on this work, I would recommend you to get inspired and to pick up a great work of literature by considering the stimulation some of the world's greater artists have found in them. Discover below some of the literary texts behind these enthralling works of art. Chef Wall, after Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, this painstaking stage photograph by Canadian artist Chef Wall was inspired by Ralph Ellison's 1952 novel Invisible Man, which explored the struggle of an unnamed African-American man in the mid-20th century. In the prologue, he described his basement room lit by 1369 light bulbs that are powered by illegally siphoned electricity, which one of the trademark elaborate sets. Wall has given detail to the image. Ellison conjured in his mind. We don't have to read the book, although it is highly recommended to understand the photograph. The protagonist mused, I am invisible, understand, simply because people refuse to see me. Taking into consideration what we have said about painting, we are ready to do our task together. Ready, steady, and go. I encourage you to take some elements to paint. You can choose the one you feel more comfortable and like: paper, cloth, pencil, pens, brushes, watercolor, etc. You may use your imagination to create a painting, or you can write right now how the paint would be in case supplies don't be accessed at the moment. The prompt is listen to the poem that I will read for all of you. Then we are going to read the poem. And when you listen to it and read it, try to spend time thinking about sounds related to the poem, feelings, wishes, smells. Let fly your imagination now, the place where you are, even the room. people, animals, your background, memories, some experience, sad or happy, and write down any situation that comes to your mind. Imagine now pictures, images, painting that express your feelings. The poem is called Beyond Boundaries. 1 month playing, applying, waiting, anxious, 3:30 p.m., the message of my life. Many documents, translation, luggage, August in my hands, coming, one foot, then the other. The aircraft took off. Since that moment, the smell held me. A dream come true. Middle East, what a pleasure to see you again. Long way, sweat sleeping, Indian celebration the following day. The room was ornamented, as my heart when I say hello. My name is Maria Alejandra Fumanoni. I am from Argentina. Nice to meet you. What my eyes seen was nothing compared with how my heart felt. I wouldn't know until a while later the power of that gaze, empanadas and falafel. Not only the mixed foods shared our plates, but our lives started to believe in something more. What the distances, culture, language, religion separate, we intended to join, bringing love. How strong are the roots? The boundaries, culture maybe, but no, because I am ready now it, and I am like them. Yes, I am like them, maybe in a different time, in ancient period of time, but my blood was from there. I didn't really know about boundaries then. Connection miles, my soul and spirit were in connection with my roots. My country was there, my ancestor, my story. I felt that I was in the right place, just there. My foot touched the floor. Blue sky only for me, all Medina, outside my life, my previous life. All that I didn't want to be more, I decided to be up. Here you have the writing poem. You can read in silence and complete the prompt. And I will give you just a few seconds. Remember, while you are reading, you can think about your feelings, smells, images, people, animal, whatever comes to your mind. You can write it. Write down all your ideas, your feelings. Or if you have the element, if you have the supplies right now with you, you can paint. You can paint directly what you feel when you read the poem. Remember that in poetry is not good or bad, so it's just our feelings. Now, I propose to paint, or at least learn how the work continues in order to do it later. When you decide to paint, you take your pencil, pen, brushes, colors, watercolors, or whatever you feel comfortable to paint with. You can paint on paper, cloth, wood. Feel free to mix colors and shapes, put in painting all your feelings and emotions regarding the poem. The paint could be finished at the moment or continue later. If you wish, you can share your image and thought with the members during the workshop. As a final point, I'd like to share a second poem where the prompt is the same. While we are thinking about the poem, or writing down or painting, I will continue with a second poem. It's called To Delfina. A little child cute and capable, care and calm. Your eyes closed, they still don't want to see the eyes work. Your hands praying together near your lips. Life listens to your little voice. Your head is covered against the cold. In a warm August, she was born. Felt face and face the witness of your feelings. Catholics and Muslims were at the same time a small stranger in silence, smiling. Oh, my little, a little Arab, a little Italian, Spanish and Argentine. What is your mission on earth? Two hands are protecting you, holding you that time and forever. Lie by my side for a period of life, until your eyes arise and your feet take the first strong step in the sun. My sweet creature, how many wars were declared in ancient times? Do the war of your face and the softness of your soul lead us to peace? Let me show you the second writing poem. Now you have to it in the screen. I encourage you to sing and write down or paint, if you have the supplies right now, all the feelings and emotions that come to your mind with this second poem. Both of the poems were written by me. They are considered intercultural poems since I write regarding different cultures, different countries, different situations. Before we end, let me suggest you, feel free to paint the previous poems using the writing note already taken. If you could write down with the two of the poems your notes, your feelings, emotions, wishes, memories, whatever come to your mind is fine. And it'd be great job if you paint your own poems. If you like writing poetry, or if you like read poems and you have some poems that you like, you can do this exercise with them. We can read or we can listen to them and try to write down all your feelings. Feel free to do it and let fly your imagination. The idea or the main point, if you can, paint while you are listening to them or reading to them. But if you don't have the supplies at the moment, you can write down and then paint what you wrote earlier. I'd like to quickly go over the main points of today's topic. Painting inspired by intercultural poetry, the ability to paint feelings through poetry, to feel and think about the words, sounds, rhythm, and verse, to imagine pictures regarding poetry. Remember that the author said they could be abstract, not a specific painting. Mix colors and shapes, as well as cultures and backgrounds. Now, I will be happy to answer any question you may have. If you have any comment, any doubt, something that you want to ask me regarding poetry, and I will be more than happy to answer them. You can unmute your mic or write in the chat box that now I will read. Before leaving, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to the presentation. Yes, someone want to ask me question?
Thank you, Maria. Topic.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Maria before we move on to our second presenter? You may ask now, please. I think you were pretty clear, Maria. Everybody's just still amazed to hear your presentation.
I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to the presentation. I hope you enjoy the meeting and don't hesitate to contact me for any further information or question regarding the workshop. Thank you and enjoy the next presentation and stay safe and stay well. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's always an honor to have you, and we look forward to see you in our future webinars too.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
Before we move on to the next presenter, if you could see there's a link shared in the chat box. If you could kindly mark your attendance there while Mr. Mahbub connects himself in. Thank you.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You may share your slides now, Mr. Mahbub.
Yeah, just a minute. Is it okay with you?
That's fine, Mr. Mahbub. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Will I start?
Yes, please. Go ahead. Let me introduce you first.
Yeah, it's better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahbub. So, welcome, Mr. Mahbub, to our platform. And Mr. Mahbub is a PhD researcher in teaching English as a second language at the Faculty of Education in Malaysia. He has been working as an assistant professor at the Department of English in Sylhet International University, Bangladesh. He is particularly interested in how technology could help English language teaching. He has published 25 research articles in prestigious international peer-reviewed journals, including Scopus and ICIS Index, example Journal of Psycholinguistics Research, Language Testing in Asia, and many more. Welcome, Mr. Mahbub. The platform is all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon from my part. Today's topic is resources networking. As you know that we are living in a global village, and in this village we are not physically connected, but we have several connections, several platforms. Through these platforms we are linked. We are not far away, but we are very connected with our whatever we have actually. So today's topic, I think it would motivate you to be joined in several resources networking. Because this resource networking has two parts. First one is a personal networking, and another one is personal networking platforms. I mean, you are personally connected closely, and you are connected in a community. Through this way, we make our networking. And as a researchers, in the global perspectives, it's very important to make or to be member of researchers community. Okay, look at my personal connections. I have already 20 more co-authors in my different projects. I've been my articles, writing, conference presentations. I have Pradhan Mahbub Nishiraj, and my next one is my supervisor and mentor, Abil Habina. And then I have several other connections with 20 more people. And all these are connected like this. And though these people are not, we are not from the same place or same country. We are from different country, from Iran, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Malaysia. So there are so many different countries, people or researchers were connected personally. How how we how I made this personal connection? Actually, I have maintained some platforms as a member of this community. I think less or more, these are very common to you, like ResearchGate, Academia, this Google Scholar, Pablo's Workkit, Dimensions, Facebook, LinkedIn, Volunteers. There are so many, but these are particularly the social networking in a sense that here you maintain a community, you are belonging to a community. Uh, those people are here have the similar professions, similar interests. I mean, as a researcher, you are connected with other researchers through these platforms. Actually, I will not go through all these individually, but I will highlight some of these as you could understand how this platform will help you. So first, what is networking? Researcher networking. Okay, networking means we know that it's very common term nowadays, as we are globally connected through several online platforms like Facebook, LinkedIn. But how or what these concepts usually work for? Actually, this work for exchanging information, new ideas. With whom? Obviously, with your same professions or the same group of people who have the similar interest to you. It enables you to learn new and new things. It creates opportunities. It establishes research works or projects. It's facilitate collaboration regardless of country or regardless of any types of place. This concept maintains like social networking sites that we usually use. This platform is a bit different. This one is called academic social networking sites. Why this networking important? What are the significance of this platforms actually? Actually, in these platforms, you will have a digital curriculum vitae or digital resume. It's online persona. Nowadays, if you maintain ResearchGate or Workkit ID regularly, you update the information. It will like a CV, like a resume. It works like that's why it's very important. Next important things, it's very important for disseminating your studies or diffusion of your studies. You should let your work to no other. So what you have done, obviously nowadays there is no way to limit you within yourself. Now it's time to disseminate your studies. Second important thing is for collaboration. Collaboration for person from person to person, institute to institute. There are different types of collaborations you can maintain through these types of research platforms. Then information management. Yeah. This resource networking help you to uh, upgrade, update your information. I mean, say for you have switched your job and joined to another place, you will update this one. Another thing is that you published a paper just now. You upload this one, and the people will know within a few seconds. These platforms also provide you impact. I mean, how many people read your articles, how many people download your articles. You can judge yourself, you can judge your work, how much value it has. Another important thing is it will provide you better literature reviews. As you have communication, you have a common community, you can see who published uh, research work of your field. You can easily find this one. Research opportunities, analytics, or impact, and actually it's beyond the ivory tower. Okay? Actually, these platforms provide you uh, without any limitation or restrictions. You can connect, you can be connected, or you can make through whatever. Actually, you can't imagine what types of benefits it will provide. Actually, it's needs. As if we think the world before internet, how the world was, I think it was difficult to maintain a relation person to person. But nowadays, it's not a bit. Then another thing is you can also make a communication uh, interdisciplinary. Say for you're from ELT, English Language Teaching background, but there are some statistical tools you are using in your research, but usually in literature or language skill learning, you don't have much knowledge about the statistics. But you can, if you have a good communication with the other disciplines, say for business, the business people are they are very much statistical oriented. You could help, you could take their help in this sense. You can make interdisciplinary exams. Another important thing is that through this interpersonal disciplinary exams, it fosters creativity. You are not limited within your area. You will be broaden your area. That's why it give you a chance to be creative. Then methodological exploration. Okay, you can find that in literature there are the very qualitative research design, but you can be interested to other methodology from other discipline whenever you will come across this. After this up-to-date online presence, as you are researchers, you should be vigilant. You should be like omnipresent in a sense that in your area you should have go through all the branches of your area. So you should be vigilant in this sense. Then these platforms, I mean, networking, it's also give you to know knowledge, new knowledge, more extension of knowledge. It also helps you to create knowledge. It's give you quality assurance, and obviously, it also helps you to disseminate your knowledge among same people or people from the other disciplines. Okay, this networking, I mean, this networking or social media networking will give you metrics on your work. Say for you have ResearchGate uh, account or profile, and you have uploaded your research papers over there. At the end of year, you can find some informations. This information collectively like a matrix, and the information based on number of updates. Okay, how many papers in a year you have uploaded like this, how many followers you have in this with these papers, how many comments with this, how many retweets with this, how many people share with these articles, and how many people download it. You can see all this in our metrics, in the way of metrics. So at the end of the day, you can find or you can evaluate your work whether it has importance or significance in your field or not, whether the people from your field are interested in your research or not. You can evaluate yourself. So it's a big thing. Now, what are the platforms that I have already mentioned? I think you have, most of them, you have these accounts, and those you don't have, at the end of this session, hopefully you will be, or you will have this account. All these are free, okay, though there are some cost issues, but you can ignore this. Okay, now look at WorkIt. First WorkIt, I will explain how WorkIt work for you. Okay, this is my WorkIt profile, the first page of the front page of my profile at WorkIt. So what is WorkIt? Actually, WorkIt is very important for our research. WorkIt stands for Open Researcher and Contributor ID. It means as a researcher, you must have an individual ID. It's like whatever passport number, like your national ID card number. As a researcher, you have these types of number. This consists of 16 digits. There are 16 digits. And this one is like DY number for you. As for your articles, there are DY numbers. As a researcher, you have also DY number. This is your DY numbers. In many journals, whenever you will go through to submit your new manuscript, they usually ask through your WorkIt accounts or ID. And another important thing is it connects researchers and researchers. It makes a connections between research and researchers. Actually, this is academic publishing workflow. Whenever your work will be published, and if it come across WorkIt, I mean, if you have put your WorkIt ID with your articles, this WorkIt will automatically identify you and add your paper with your profile. The WorkIt organization is an international, interdisciplinary, open, not-for-profit, community-driven. Okay, these are the key. Okay, this is not here. There is no issues about cost or expenditure. It's totally free. And as you have, sorry for. As a researcher, you have an individual ID. Like this, your institutions may have this types of ID. And this WorkIt also presents the history of your education, employments, and publications. Actually, WorkIt simply, it is like a digital CV, your digital updated CV. Okay, what does WorkIt offer? Look at this. WorkIt usually offer you as an account and repository, I mean report. It's like other social networking like Facebook, sorry, or LinkedIn. WorkIt account is similar like LinkedIn and Facebook, but this is especially for researchers. not for all common people. Okay. So you will be here selected or selective. Workit account usually what does it offer? It offer your ID. It make a link with Scopus, ISNI, Pablots. It's also give you information about research institutions, funders, governments, all these things they will provide you. Then the most important and common thing is that we can submit our manuscript from our WorkKit IDs. We can apply with our WorkKit ID for grant. We can put a data set. We can apply. We can, in some cases of some universities in the world, they need a WorkKit ID to submit students' thesis. Then student or staff onboarding, single sign-on, membership renewal, conference registration, repository updates. Okay. Actually, as a researcher, what does he or she need? Everything is within WorkKit. It's simply, it's fabulous. Whenever I go through this, I found it's fabulous. There are enormous things over there. Okay, what are the benefits of WorkKit? There are a lot of benefits that I have already mentioned. First of all, this WorkKit ID distinct you from other researchers, as you have unique and persistent identification. And you can use this WorkKit ID all through your career. And it also gives the idea about your personal, professional activities and affiliation. It is totally independent. It is also embedded with some other metadata like interoperability. It will make a link between you and the discipline, organization, and country. Another important thing is that it will reduce your workload. How? Usually we exams, say for if I ask one of you to send your paper to me, what will you do? You will do to send me through mail, PDF format like this. But your WorkKit, you just send me your address, WorkKit address, I will find your articles in it. And which one do I need? I will find out this one. So researchers don't have anything, don't have do anything to spread out or to reach his or her research articles to people by door to door. Okay, it will automatically go. And another important thing is that WorkKit is like an automated repository. It's your own database because your publication, your conference activities, or your career activities, your educational activities, all the things you can put here. That's why I think after 50, I think after 5 or 10 years, people will not ask you for your CV, for hiring you to a job, because meantime people will be accustomed with digital CV like WorkKit. This is the website of WorkKit. You just simply go through and you can registration. You can make your registration. Next one is Pablo. I think this one is very fabulous. Enormous benefit I have got personally from this platform. Okay. This is totally researchers networking. I think everyone or every researcher must have this ID, this account. Okay, Pavlons, how does it work and what is it? Actually, Pavlon was founded in 2012. It's not very old. Okay, it's new. By Andrew Piston and Daniel Johnston. What was their purpose? Their purpose was to address the static state of peer reviewing practices. You know that as a researcher, you must go through several uh, reviewing activities. Everyone, I think, everyone must have experienced with reviewing activities. But these activities is not either remunerated or recognized. Simply, you just review, and the journal know you and you know that you reviewed. But nowadays, the scenario totally changed through Pablos. Pablos give you recognition, okay, not monetary recognition, but your status recognition. They will recognize your status in the sense at the end of the year they will rank you top reviewers in your country, top reviewer in the world. Okay, so nowadays, reviewing activities is not untouched. Okay, so it will give lot of benefits. So, okay, another important thing is that Pavlov's tracks your publications, citation metrics, peer reviews, and journal editing work. All the things will be counted through Pavlov's. Okay, so if you are editor of a journal and if you handle any papers or any manuscripts, this one also be recorded in Pablo. So at the end, whenever you will find that your Pablos is with bootstrap, with several activities, yeah, you will find your completions. And then 2017, Pablos was shifted to the ownership to Planet Analytics, and nowadays it's Web of Science. There are more than 2,200 partnered journals. I think nowadays it has been risen. It's give you automatic uh, review recognition for your works. There is some statistical data about problems, importance of problems. There is a survey. In the survey, 98% researchers thought that this is either important or very important. Obviously, problems is very important, I think. Ensuring the general quality and integrity of scholarly communication. And what can a researcher see through peer review? They can see this as their part of their job, because if we see his name in the top list of reviewers in his country or global context, he will be happy. She will be happy. So, how this one? Okay. Another important thing is that there is a link between Pavlov's and Orchid. Pavlov's and Orchid, they are internal linked. Whatever you will have in Orchid, you can synchronize this one into your Pavlov's account. Okay, there is option. I will show you. Okay, this is my Pavlov's account, the front page of this. Look at this. They recognized me as an excellent reviewer. I took part into their course, and in this course, they recognized me as an academy graduate and mentor. So, first, they have recognized me as an excellent reviewer. With this, I am very much happy. Then I have completed their course, their free course. I will show you. They usually offer free course. Course one, reviewing how can you review manuscript. They will give you 10 module training, peer review training. Okay. And after this, one mentor will evaluate your work, and then they will certify you as an academic graduate. And you supervise, if you supervise the other people, then you will be recognized as mentor. So everything is within sub recognitions. Look at this, all the highlighted things at the right hand side of the top corner, like Web of Science Researcher ID. This Pablo's ID and Web of Science Researcher ID are the same, similar. This is your Web of Science ID. And look at this is my publications. I have 19 publications uploaded into Pablo's. And my 19 papers cited me. This is the cited score. My index is 3 over there. And my verified reviews. I have reviewed 116 manuscripts at different journals in my field. What are my fields? Like my field is applied linguistics, English as second language, English language teaching, language and technology, mobile learning, mobile technologies, language learning. Okay, there are the options. You can put your interest of your research over there. Well, and left hand side, there's the summary, metrics, publication, peer review. And most important thing is that you can also take output of CV of all your activities. I mean, in the CV, they will generate for you what there will be the list of papers, list of manuscripts that you have reviewed with the journal's name. Okay, this is the my private dashboard. Before that, this one is the public profile. Anyone can see this information from my account. But privately, what can I do? I can track my citations. I can manage my reviews. I can see my profile and edit this one. I can export my Pablo CV. This is totally research based. You can take your output of your how many papers you have published, how many papers you have reviewed, all the list. And look at this, the left hand side of me, maybe it's your right hand side. Like public profile, export public CV, citation map, publications, peer reviews, activities, editor records, pending records, notifications. Okay, look at this. Peer reviews summary. Okay, look at this. These are the name of journals, and with these journals, there is the Web of Science mark. Okay, I mean, this journal is indexed in Web of Science. Web of Science. Okay. I have reviewed for 36 different journals. Look at this, only 10 is here due to the shortcomings of snapshot. I have reviewed 36 journals manuscripts and 116 manuscripts. These are the journals name indexed, and these are the publications name on which publication they have published. Okay. And look at this 2796. These are the number of reviewed manuscript in this journal. Okay. For Education Research International, for the journal, I have reviewed 27. For Helium, I have reviewed nine manuscripts. I mean, at the end, whenever you will see your Pablo's account with several activities, definitely you will find completion. So look at the publication history. I have published in 15 different journals. Okay, look at this. Some journals are indexed in Web of Science, but Scopus is not identified like this. Okay, but as Pablo's is associated with Web of Science, that's why they automatically do it. But the names of the publishers. Okay, how many papers I have published in these journals? Look at this language testing Asia. I published here 3 language and communication. Here I published in 2, one like this. So everything. Now, whenever you will send the address of Pablo's to someone, actually you don't need to send them your CV, your resume. They can easily. Okay, these are the my publications. My publication is word art according to the most recent publications. Look at this. The left hand side, there are the 00. I mean, these papers yet not cited. That's why these are the 00. This is the title. And with this, there is the Web of Science part. I mean, the journal is indexed with Web of Science, author's name, published date, the journal's name, and DOI number. So everything is over there. It's very interesting to me. Look at this. This is the matrix that I have talked earlier. This side is publications. I mean, the right hand side, your right hand side, there's the publications, and the blue one is the publications, and the red one is peer reviews. So I have started my account with Pablo since 2019. I mean 2019. First, at the end of the 2019, I started with Pablo's. And from 2020, I started reviewing manuscripts. I was invited by several, and now in 2021, I have more than 100 manuscripts I have given. So everything is clear over there. And another important thing is that you can also see your review activities per month. So I have started with January 2020. I have only reviewed one. Then gradually I have gone to 2021. Actually, I have reviewed many different ones.
Thank you, Mr. Mahbub. Sorry, I would like to cut you short here. We've run out of time. It was going very interesting.
Okay, can I get 5 minutes, 5 more minutes?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
I wrap up. Okay.
Please.
Okay, like this, there is the research gate, the similar. These are the features. I think less or more you will find this. There are the different options you will get usually over there. And Google Scholar, this is very common. I think you know all of this. Academia is also common to all. And Frontier, maybe this one is not common to all, but it's another one, another platform. And LinkedIn, we are usually use this LinkedIn, but this is not totally research based. This is amalgamated. And finally, there are some issues, ethical issues. So these issues are like this. What we should maintain some concerns about this. So we have to maintain our ethical stance over there. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahbub. It was very informative and an eye-opener for some of the budding researchers. We would take questions now. If you have any questions for Mr. Mahbub, please direct them now. You can write them in the chat box and I can read it for you. Any questions you have, please ask them now. Or you can open your mics and interact directly. We have just a comment. It says it's very informative. Yes, it is indeed. It was.
Thank you very much.
And we're impressed by your publications. MashaAllah.
Pray for me. Actually, I'm trying my best.
We have one question. It says, can you publish without review?
No, how can?
No?
Actually, in academic world, it cannot be without reviewing a paper. Someone will publish the journal will not be good at all. There will be a question marks. So it cannot be.
Okay, do we have any more questions? So which one among all these, Mr. Mahbub, do you suggest to have as a first choice? Orchid or Publicon? Which one?
Actually, as a novice researcher, I think both Pablo's and Orchid a bit complementary.
Okay.
But the Pablo's is more helpful because it will provide you some trainings, especially on peer review trainings. And there are many options. You can search over there, you can download some videos, and you can learn. So if you want to write good papers, before that I think you know what the things you need. So whenever you go through reviewing, you can know what the things you need to put into the paper.
Yes, of course, and it will polish you as well in the process while you're reviewing. It helps you to correct your own research papers, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahbub. It's always a pleasure and very informative. We learn a lot from you whenever you come to our platform, and we really appreciate taking time, Maria and Mr. Mahbub, to join us today for this research webinar. Before we leave, I will kindly request all of you to kindly register your attendance in the link shared below. And I want to share a contribution from Miss Maria's. We had a painting sent to us of Miss Maria's poem. I would like to share that now. If I am able to share my screen. Can you see the painting? Or you can just see my Google.
Only Google is visible.
Let me see. It was a beautiful painting. I really wanted to share it with all of you. It was a reflection of Miss Maria's poem, what she had shared with us, her journey through the poetry. No, can you see it now?
Actually, you shared your entire screen.
Yeah, I know. I think there are multiple windows opening at the moment. Really wanted to share this painting. It's beautiful. Okay, I think because the rest of you were there as presenters. Well, I think I will stop here. Thank you so much for both of you. It was excellent having you over. As I always, Miss Maria had a different perspective of looking at paintings and through poetry. And Mr. Mahbub, your research insight was, as usual, very informative and worthwhile listening to. Thank you so much, both of you. And we're looking forward to seeing you, inshallah. Bye for now. Bye. Thank you so much for rest of you who have joined us across the globe, and we hope to see you in our future webinars. Bye for now.
Best of luck.